Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. First up, viewers, the growing wave of protests in Pakistan-Occupied Kashmir, coupled with recurring bombings in Quetta and the sustained operations of the Baloch Liberation Front Army or the Balochistan Liberation Army, underscores the widening security and governance challenges for Pakistan. In Pak-occupied Jammu Kashmir, demonstrators have taken to the streets against rising inflation, lack of basic services, and political disenfranchisement, reflecting deep frustration at Islamabad's neglect of the region. Simultaneously, Quetta has witnessed repeated bombings, often targeting security forces and civilians alike, exposing the inability of the state to stem sectarian and insurgent violence in Balochistan. The BLA, emboldened by grievances over exploitation of natural resources and political marginalization, has escalated its attacks on infrastructure projects and Chinese interests tied to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC, while Pakistan peddles the same rare earth treasure to US President Donald Trump. Let's take you back to 2024. In May 2024, major protests in PoK demanding affordable electricity and flour subsidies. August 8th to 14th, 2024, Baloch groups carry out multiple attacks during Pakistan's Independence Day. November 12th to 12th and 13th, 2024, Baloch groups carry out 45 coordinated strikes across Balochistan. March 11, 2025, Baloch groups hijack Jafar Express, killing 26 hostages and kidnapping over 400, and most of them were on holiday or off-duty Pakistan Security Forces personnel. August 12, 2025, Baloch forces kill 9 Pakistani soldiers in southwestern Balochistan. September 28, 29, 2025, mass shutdowns in PoK led by Awami Action Committee for fundamental rights. September 30th, 2025, that's today, 1 killed, several hurt in violent clashes during protest rally in Muzaffarabad in PoK. Again, 30th September 2025, today, 10 killed and 19 injured in car bombings in Quetta near Frontier Constabulary headquarters. Now, taken together, these developments paint a picture of a fractured polity where discontent is spreading across multiple fronts. And for Pakistan, the convergence of unrest in PoK, urban terror in Quetta, the BLA insurgency, the Pashtuns also upset in Waziristan. Oh, it's not a small law and order problem, but a multi-layered crisis of legitimacy, governance and security, and growing impatience amongst the Awam, threatening both internal stability and strategic partnerships abroad. Now the question remains, is this nation on the brink of splitting 4 ways? Anand Ranganathan, author, political commentator and scientist with us, and Lieutenant General T.P. Pandey, security analyst with us. We should soon have Tilak Devasharji, author, ex-member of the NSAB and someone who has spent many years in this entire region in studying Pakistan. But General Pandey, how would you view this unrest? Now, a lot of this stems from among the people for basic rights, and a lot of these protests are because annihilation of basic rights across multiple regions of Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied territory.
I will put the entire one set of people to be blamed, and they are the Muhajir who moved from Bharat to so-called artificial country called Pakistan. Right? If you see at the heart of all the problems, when you stitch an artificial country, which belongs to 4 or 5 different distinct, majorly distinct people, whose behavior, conduct, living lifestyle is extremely chalk and cheese kind of thing, and you try and bind them together with one thing called religion, it is very difficult, because in case religion was a binding factor, we would not have more than nearly half a century worth of countries all over just in the Gulf region itself.
Right.
So look at this this challenge. There's people like Asim Munir, Ziaul Haq, Bhuttos, who have moved from India for taking control of a piece of country. They want to control, and they want to take them to a radicalization environment. Baloch people are extremely different from what people from Punjab are, or people who are Muslims, who may move there on the basis of religion, right? So what happens is when you're trying to put them under your grip, it can't happen. And Balochistan, which is so vast in reserves, resources, and everything, and you start mining it away without giving the benefit to the people of the state. You know, you look at it's like chalk and cheese when you compare the two countries. There, it has been all mined and taken away for the filling the coffers of generals and some politicians and bureaucrats, which gets parked outside and not even used for the benefit of the world. And this is washed by the Baloch people, who are much more simpler. I will say they are quite adjustable, adaptable to any outsider. But they have been actually pushed to a corner over the last about 7.5 decades. While they never voted to join Pakistan, but yet they have been compelled to be with them for such a long time. And this, I think the line which you said is very telling. You want to actually get peace in the world in terms of radicalization, in terms of terrorism, want to remove everything. We need to actually split this geographical entity, which is supposed to be a geostrategic, very, very geostrategically important to the Britishers or the Americans or the Chinese. When you split them into four, you will find peace coming in this area.
General Pandey, we'll just restart your video. It's just frozen for a bit. We'll just get that back and get you back on live with us here on the right stand. But Tilak Devasharji, are there entities who are desperately just holding a nation that is bursting in its seams or which is splitting?
Good evening, Anand, to both the Anands, in fact. Yes, it is an artificial entity, and it's being held together only by the strength of the Pakistan army. East Pakistan broke away because they had a critical mass of population, and they were able to break away, and because of the distance and the role that India played. But the other, especially in the case of the Pashtuns and the Baloch, and even the Sindhis, actually it's only Punjab that is Pakistan. I mean, they've converted. One of the structural problems in Pakistan is that the Punjabi has lost his provincial Punjabi identity and has adopted a Pakistani identity. And in the process, there are a lot of Punjabis who are very upset. So it's being held together artificially by the Pakistan army. And how long the Pakistan army can sustain to do this? I mean, if you see the recent spate of attacks that have taken place in Balochistan or in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and now even in Gilgit-Baltistan and in PoK, there are big protests that are going on because people are unhappy. You know, people want, in the 21st century, they want their rights. They want education for their children. They want schools. They want roads, hospitals. But if you're a security state, and 30% of the budget goes for the army and the privileges of the army, and then people ask that if you are taking so much of money, what are you doing for security? Look at the statistics of the people being killed, the security personnel being killed every day. So much so that, you know, now a bomb blast which kills 2 or 3 people hardly even registers. You know, a checkpoint is attacked, traffic is stopped. I mean, there's nobody paying attention because people have got so used to it. तो होता ही है Balochistan में और Khyber Pakhtunkhwa में.
But
so, people ask that what is the army doing?
So we've just got update. I'm going to see if we can just put it out now from PoK. This update is coming in from PoK, where the fight for rights continues. In fact, the Kashmir Action Committee has announced a siege of Muzaffarabad. And that too in the next 24 hours, there's going to be some more action. We'll get you those details in a bit. It's just coming in. But Dr. Ranganathan, your thoughts on that?
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my exalted fellow panelists. I speak as a layman. May I, and of course, wonderful thoughts of my previous 2 fellow panelists. May I gently disagree or maybe go at a variance with what General Pandey said? While it is absolutely true that you know, when you talk about the infusion of religion in everyday life of Islamic countries, especially Pakistan in this case, there is a dichotomy there which I want to explain. On one hand, the general is right that, you know, the so-called basis of unity that was religion, or purport to be religion, lies in smithereens, and we know that a fact because this so-called two-nation theory that was first propounded by, of course, it is written in the Quran, and then propounded by Karl Marx, and then Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, and then Jinnah, and then a lot of other people, was blown to smithereens with the creation of Bangladesh. I mean, it was, a people, millions of them, who wanted a separate nation, even though they were all Muslims. So, while that is true, it is also true, ironically, the other side of the coin, that Pakistan and a lot of Islamic nations are populated by, there is no other word for it, fanatical followers of an ideology that repeatedly tells them to not worry about this life, howsoever troubling it may be, but worry about the hereafter. Starting from a dozen odd verses of the Holy Book, starting with 286, imploring them not to worry about whatever hardships, whatever penury, whatever death, destruction lies for them in this world, and actually condemns them that you will be punished if you think about the worldly desires of this world as opposed to what lies in wait for you. Hence, to have this population, I speak specifically of Pakistan, where you have suicide bombers who go to great lengths to protect their genitalia with metal so as to enter the hereafter. And I mean, it might be funny in one sense, but it's not, because what it's telling you is that here is a nation that might explode, implode, whatever, but it may go to the Stone Ages, but it will always reload because it is an absolute strict adherent to this ideology. Now, I just want to add something to that. You look at Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and for me, he is the father of the nation. Every morning I get up and I thank him for creating Pakistan. I mean, just imagine if that was part of India now, 250 odd million fanatics. So, I mean, he is the real father of the nation as far as I'm concerned. But look at who he was. Anand, he was a Shia. And right now, which is the biggest persecuted peoples in Pakistan? 30 million of them, they are Shias. So this is a country that doesn't think two hoots about the community of people that actually created it.
In fact, interestingly, with Muhammad Ali Jinnah, they refused to, even anoint him as a Shia. They claimed him as a Sunni. That's what happened. That's what on the records, that's what it says. Now, Tilakji, quickly, and General Pandey, see, there is trouble brewing in PoK. I just said, and we're putting that out right now, the Kashmir Action Committee has announced a siege of Muzaffarabad. 1st of October, they are going to march to the committee, to the capital. The Jammu Kashmir Joint Awami Action Committee has announced a siege of the capital within the next 24 hours. All caravans will march towards occupied Kashmir's capital, Muzaffarabad, on the 1st of October. The decision has come after committee members' consultation. So, this means there is huge trouble that's brewing in Muzaffarabad in less than 24 hours from now. Tilakji.
The thing is that there is a civil rights movement, Jammu and Kashmir Awami Action Committee. And they have been negotiating with the government for some time for basic civic rights. Now, when on Monday they had a protest demonstration because nothing was happening, the negotiations were being stalled. Typically, trying to be too clever by half, they put up a Muslim League delegation, procession, which attacked this peaceful delegation or a procession of the Jammu and Kashmir Awami Action Committee. And those guys were protected by the police. They opened fire at this, in which one boy was killed and some others sustained injuries. Now, they thought they could cow down these people, but these people have not got cowed down. So they decided to do this gherao of Muzaffarabad on the 1st. So again, it is the kind of impunity which the security forces and the administration think that they have, that they can do what they like. And the people don't matter. They don't give a damn for the people. Similarly, I was just moving away. The Baloch women were protesting in Islamabad for 74 days, asking for justice for the enforced disappearance and the kill and dump, and wanted to know where their brothers, missing fathers, missing sons were. Nobody came to see them or even talk to them for 74 days. They were hassled, they were pushed around, they were put behind the bars, and every effort was made to break that procession, that demonstration. But they stuck around, they hung around in front of the National Press Club for 74 days. Now they've gone back to tell the people that, look, you don't have a voice in Islamabad. So, so this again is narrowing the space for people who would rather be in Pakistan than not be in Pakistan. The space for people who want to be part of Pakistan is is narrowing in Balochistan, and similarly in Azad Kashmir, so-called Azad Kashmir.
This is Pak-occupied Kashmir, but more importantly, Tilakji, the fact is that the issue of Baloch is not an old one. They are there at Geneva, they are there on the squares with more than 8,000 people who have been missing. They've got pictures of helicopters being used to fire on civilians, but it's on the blind spot of those human rights champions in Geneva, Tilakji.
Anand, this is where the problem is. I don't agree with you. Because the civil rights movement in Balochistan on the ground started off in December 23. There were sporadic protests earlier, but in an organized manner, with the formation of the Baloch Janjathi Committee and their long march from Quetta to Islamabad in December of 2023, that is what has kick-started the civil rights movement in Balochistan, which has cut across tribal lines. And it is being led by women. Women in Balochistan have a very conservative society. They stay at home. But now the women are leading this demonstration because there are no men left. So this is the last 2 years. It's not that it's been happening for over a long period of time. And like in the case of East Pakistan, the Pakistan army only has one template in dealing with civil rights movement, which is to use the gun. They don't know how to handle this. And the leader of the Baloch Janjathi Committee, Mehrang Baloch, has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Currently, she's behind bars, but a very gutsy lady. So, similarly, now her sister is leading this march of 74 days, this protest movement. So, it's similarly with the Pashtuns. There's been a very strong Pashtun civil rights movement led by Manzoor Pashtun.
PTM.
And now in PoK, we have seen it in Gilgit-Baltistan.
So it is civilians who are coming up and who are up at arms, and there are huge amounts of protests, and they just seem to be around similar issues in these areas. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, and then quickly General Pandey. Yes, we got news.
I was just saying, the good general actually talked of something which was quite interesting. I just want to, take off from there. He said that there is so much difference, variance between the Baloch and the Pashtun and the other societies and the Punjabis, that, that's the difference. The fact of the matter is that a Malayali is more different from a Indian Punjabi or a Kashmiri than any distinct differences you might find in the Pakistan. So I don't think the difference is that. We have 1,000 different cultures and communities. I think it's to do more with that is the next layer. The next layer is it is an intensely feudalistic tribal society. Unfortunately, it cannot unite on the basis of religion, but when it comes to dividing itself, it goes back time and again over centuries to religion. And that is the reason why I talked about Shia-Sunni conflict. Ahmadiyas are not even considered Muslims there. So, you have a lot of problems. The division is crystallized by adherence to a strong fundamentalist possible. That's the situation.
General Pandey?
Yeah. So, Anand, very interesting points have come out. I just want to talk of one thing. Time and again in Jammu and Kashmir and POJK, every time when the trouble brews or things are not going the Pakistani way, they use religion as a card to start inciting people. So on our side was Jamaat-e-Islami, which claims not to be attached to the ideology which is propagated from that side, and of course there was Hurriyat. But look at this case which you just mentioned about that how the Jamaat-e-Islami or the Jamaat people were Muslim League people were used to contest this march in Muzaffarabad. So there is one very, very common element. Wherever it is possible, the Pakistani military tries to get the mullahs to control the economic dissonance or civil rights movement in whichever region it is coming out. I was a co-commander as a GOC, and number of times I used to go to the border area. It was very interesting. Our roads are going right till the edges. Our activities are free. Colleges, schools are running. I used to go and meet people, and there used to be celebration festivals ongoing On the other side, people used to come out and watch. Actually, the conversation was always there that there's a progress, harmony, peace. बच्चे हमारे आपके स्कूल जा रहे हैं, but in our side it is not happening, right? So that dissonance, unhappiness of being with Pakistan, attached to that place where they don't belong to, is quite very, very evident, not only in POJK, but in Gilgit-Baltistan, because, about a decade back or about half a decade back, you could hide the progress, right? You can use opium of religion to control the people. But frankly, now everybody is watching progress happening all over the place. And look at the contrast. Punjabi by nature is actually on an opposite segment of what their religion is teaching them. Punjabi is gregarious, wants to enjoy life, wants to do everything which is enjoying in today's life. Like there are so many other communities who are conservative by civilization. But Punjabi by nature is fun-loving, and what their religion is trying to tell them, and that is what that thing comes out, that boil comes out off and on when you listen to the media, politicians, cricketers who are prominent members of society, when they talk very, very ill, ki ladki utha laenge, or we will do all that thing. That conversation comes out because, frankly, no religion will talk like this the way they talk onto the media. So these are the conflicts of the society, and I think while everybody may believe that वो कहते हैं बाबा ने कहा कि घर बसता रहे, so that this trouble lot should not go outside to try. But my view is that the moment Sindhis, who are far more modern and educated and business oriented, the moment KPK goes out, the Pashtuns go out, and Balochis go out, you will find this trouble coming out to be a smaller landlocked area of Punjab, and that may change the geopolitical, geostrategic environment wherein the terror which is coming out may get restrained, because they are the people through what is Pakistan military? Pakistan military is not representative of Pakistani society. It is representative of Pakistani Punjab, and that's it. Right. Now, and that is the major challenge.
If the cultural moorings take over from the religious radicalization and the indoctrination among the people, and they realize this for economic advantages or perhaps freedom, independence, etc., then the better. But right now, this place is imploding, and if it's imploding, is it going to help or hurt Bharat? We'll have to wait and watch. I have to pause here, Dr. Ranganathan, because we